of taking the #1 spot, which is a little too much if you ask me.
I mean, that just tells me that anyone's game right now, honestly. I mean, when you got 8 teams with equal chances of taking the top spot, I mean, free for all, ladies and gentlemen.
But of course, the lower you go in the ranking overall, the harder you have to work, the bigger your margin needs to be at the very top by the end of this Kalahari matchup. Expand seems to be pretty confident once again, flying away just towards the bottom of Maze, and they have sent one guy a little bit further out just to play that safe insurance policy.
I mean, the way they spread out actually perfectly lined up along with the borders of the next safe zone. So I don't know, maybe they have a bit of a third eye going on there, perhaps in terms of knowing where the safe zone is going to be. But looks like already first blood being picked up there, and first Raiders Eclipse is the one taking the honors of it, given that they are taking control over the platforms very, very early on, just like how we did in the last Kalahari map we played.
Well, first Raiders were one of the best killers out there on Kalahari. They were the third best killers, I have to say. 7 eliminations earlier on, but where they went south was they weren't able to survive as long as some of the other teams in towards that final circle. I believe the third circle from the last one, they got taken out a little prematurely, which was a little unfortunate. They only took away 4 placement points, and that is the 7th place overall. So I don't think they will want to look for that once again this time around. Let's wait and see if they can survive. Won't be out of the equation, all thanks to Bio. That's just a quick turnaround, but Kororo shows up and puts him out of the equation.
Oh boy, this is getting a little bit bad right now for Flash, because if they just taken that kill and got away with it, that would be just a trade, but then now they're going to be bogged down a little bit further on, while the revive point's already being held by attack all around at this point, so they can afford to be a little bit more aggressive now as Jumping God puts out his full force now, trying to find Shin, who has only the support of a campfire, but that's not going to be enough as the follow-up comes true, and they are both going to be knocked down, and Shin will be sent to the Shadow Realm.
Let's see if or not Attack All Around can find that final circle, because we were highlighting them earlier since they were the monsters of Kalahari the last time we hopped on in here. But a rough start might just be exactly what they need so that they keep their eyes open all the way through. Heavy, facing heavy firepower from EARENA this time around, but a good time turner pulled down by Protete. What a prodigy! And that was the best engagement we've seen all day. The timing was perfect.
Yeah, the timing on the time turner really well. It's sublime. Look at it yet again. Shut up is going to be using the Kronos time turner in order to try to fight against Mill now. He's going to have backup coming in behind him, though. That distraction has probably worked out the best for him. It's Mill now. Now it's been taken out of the equation here, and EARENA keeps control over the shipwreck here at Katarina. So now that things are going to be settling down a little bit more, let's see whether or not this next circle is going to be favoring some of these squads here, especially on the northern side, because I think there's going to be mass migration up on the top side, given a lot of teams jumped out early in this fight here. So there's going to be a lot of maneuvering to be done, I expect. But for those who are already within the safe zone, I mean, here we go. Expand is already kind of getting close up to where both EVOS as well as NIGMA Galaxy is. NIGMA, in fact, has taken control over the blue zone, which is the high-tier loot zone just over on Foundation. And using this opportunity now to try to find some good weaponry. And it looks like they've gotten quite a decent bit of loot, actually, now to look at it.
Let's see if we can do them a bit of favor a little bit later on. King of Gamers. They are in the next circle already, but a little bit too out in the open if you ask me. They do have a hill just towards the right-hand side, which gives them a bit of cover. Towards the left, on the other hand, they're all open. Not many of those glue walls to kind of play around with. Expand needs to be careful, because I think they are trying to evacuate the maze. And just behind them, EVOS Divine showing up. This is the worst timing if you are an Expand player.
Yeah, and add to the fact that EVOS now effectively has control over a revive point. They can afford to actually be aggressive without necessarily losing too much ground. So this is giving them a nice base of opportunity here to gatekeep some of these squads, particularly Expand, who is literally right next to them. And I think maybe a 1 or 2 of them may be spotted out, because I'm seeing EVOS Divine literally moving towards their direction here, just trying to set up a front. Oh, yes, they already spotted them. In fact, they already got a knockdown here onto X-Roy, so he's caught out in lurch, out in open as MRO5 is going to be brought back into the fold here, and will be able to get himself back up to full health. So EVOS now continue continuing their charge all the way downwards, and that's going to be forcing the rest expand to kind of like make haste and peel out of this area.
It was Divine not taking any risky maneuvers around. They're just going to chill all together to see if they can loot up. And I guess this is a good strategy out of them. And they do have one more of their players kind of catching up together with them.
Yeah, it's like, I mean, I've seen Divine actually do this in the previous map where, you know, they have 3 squad members moving up at the same time and 1 squad member hangs back as insurance. And in previous fights, in previous games, actually, I've seen squads typically split up 2-2.
Yeah.
But it seems like the 3-1 is a much safer kind of like route to go if you want to be hyper aggressive, because at least, you know, even if you because things can rapidly fall apart. Even if you're fighting as a squad. So even if you're not going for full strength, at least you have a 3rd extra member in any kind of fight, and that will sorry, the 4th extra member who is like not involved in the fight as well. So that again gives you a lot more opportunity for a comeback if, you know, the assault doesn't go their way.
Let's see if the players of Sem9 can make something go their way. Sem9 has been struggling all throughout the day. 20 points is all they have managed to pick up, and dead last in the overall leaderboard.
Yeah, I mean, it's honestly a bit disappointing for them because you know that the next day of competition is going to be a lot harder than it needs to be when you're starting from this big of a deficit. But nevertheless, I think that's also a consequence of them, you know, being focused a lot, focused on, particularly by some of the other squads here. Because I think, like, especially for the teams that came into this grand finals, having a lot of having shown a lot of performance during the league and play-in stages, that naturally you assume that they will be dominant coming in here, but conversely, the other teams are definitely keeping an eye on these high-performing squads. They've already kind of like analyzed, broke down how exactly these squads are powerful, and basically find out ways to kind of like keep them tempered. And I think that this is now starting to bite them in this stage now, because now that everyone is starting on equal footing, they're just finding it easier to suppress these top squads who are constantly tied up in fights against each other, and it's given opportunities to other teams in order to find additional points, additional kills, and that's kind of like made the competition rather topsy-turvy at this point, because it's like the opportunists are the one really that are gathering all the points, whereas the powerhouse teams are the one donating those points to them.
Is attack all around that is being extremely cautious in this round, and I'm not surprised at all, right? Because they've got a good opportunity to take the #1 spot. But SPS ALFAINK on the other hand, they need to find a way to survive this. EARENA goes in for the ambush. 1 good grenade tags them up. 1 more shot can finish him off. Wow! It's Jojo and Ray that strike right back. Jojo long range engagement, and EARENA, they bite the dust. SPS ALFAINK, they awake now.
Oh boy, they're still not quite out of the woods yet, because the rest of EARENA comes in trying to finish them off, and they do finish off 1 of 2 members here. Barra is still going to try to hold it. Ray is still trying to hold his own, but it's going to be taking a lot of damage. Shut up, and punching right on the top there. Will get smacked down by Jojo, so Ray still survives here in order to bring the revive back to his squad. But watch out, around the corner, King of Gamers have been hearing the commotion. Now they're going to be coming in to fight here while they are still down. Blue Wall Breaker is going to be brought up here. JLX is trying to go up close and personal here with the sawed-off shotgun, but cannot find any targets quite yet. He has to get closer and closer, but still cannot find anyone to take out. Just only finishes Barra, who is already down on the ground. Then turns around, finds Kade, takes him out, and at least that will be 2 points going to KOG's name.
Yeah, King of Gamers, they vouched on the players of SPS ALFAINK, but I love the play out of Ray. He spots the car. He knows that they have got no chance whatsoever against King of Gamers, and if he does not back away, they were going to be toast. They would get taken out in the 11th spot. He zooms away, and he keeps SES in the game. He keeps SES potentially in the #1 spot, because you have to see how close this is. Remember, I said there are 8 teams who could potentially take that #1 spot away, 7 teams apart from SES, and there was just no way they can afford to get taken out in the 11th spot. Smart play. Bara brought back into the game. SES still in it.
Yeah, Expand right now trying to take this fight against Sem9, but they've already lost Cobra in this process. And Sem9 does have a better setup here because they're already closer to that safe zone compared to where Expand is. So they're still trying to fight from the ground onwards. This next circle actually just ends up being right next door to where Sem9 Expand is. So whoever wins this fight is already having a free reign to walk into this next safe zone. So they need to try to clean up this little engagement as quickly as possible. But that's a good shot there from Ashura, taking down the Axel. So Expand, being already one man down, is now finding themselves in even more pressure right now to get a trade. But so far, nothing seems to have dented Sem9's spirit at this point because they still have a full squad, still able to hold their own.
Expand, on the other hand, they cannot afford this fight. Do you? That's a rare occasion. He gets a kill. No hit mark this time around. Roy from afar. The M1 in hand, and all he needs to do is just wait for Zen-OP. Zen-OP knows exactly what to expect here. Yeah. It is a position that Zen-OP can just play around with first, but I think this is a very smart strategy by Zen. Just holding on to that viewpoint, but waiting for backup before he does go into engage.
Yeah, I mean, again, those towers are literally designed for scouting. It's meant for you to have a better overview of the surrounding area, but the thing is that Zen-OP isn't able to spot that final member there, just hiding behind the crates, so hopefully it wouldn't be caught out by that. In the meantime, First Raiders already making a big launch towards the center of this next safe zone, probably going to land themselves right on top of another squad here. Heavy actually was in the middle of a firefight, looks like, against ALFAINK, and now First Raiders has come into to just rain in on their parade.
This rain is going to be enough to drown these players out. First Raiders, beautiful shutdown onto Fudai. Fudai goes out, Tom down onto the ground. Souza has got the grenade launcher. Souza finishes him off as well, and Buffalo says, hell no, Buffalo Soldier charges away.
Yeah, attack all around, also joining in the fray, though, landing on top of this engagement, so it's becoming a three-way fight right now. Heavy has been eliminated in the meantime with KOG's Kelvin finding a good shot from a distance, but then now all eyes onto both EVOS Divine as well as First Raiders as they attempt to try to clear things out around this campsite, but First Raiders are finding themselves locked in to inside the tent right now, not able to proceed outside without risking too much damage, so they're in very much a conundrum right now. Glue wall is going to be broken down on the entrances, trying to find a way to break in there so they can finish off the rest of First Raiders, but EVOS Divine still holding her own, but look at NGX in the meantime, though, eliminating the entirety of Sem9, coming in third-partying that fight.
The question is, will Team First Raiders be saved by all of these third parties that are in and around this area? Because First Raiders, they've already piled themselves into a good defensive position. Their opponents, on the other hand, EVOS Divine, are right outside. So many players around them, they can't take those pot shots up against them, and First Raiders are fully barricaded in. But a couple of grenades, that's all it's going to take though, Victor.
Oh boy, Glue Wall coming out just in time as the rest of EVOS Divine throws storms into the front. They're going to be a slaughterhouse here in this tent as EVOS wipes out the entirety of the First Raider squad. It was inside here. There was still one member who has managed to get out of the way there, and he's pretty much going to have to play this solo though, but unfortunately, he lands himself in the middle where KOG is. He's not quite out of the woods. He's got hunters hunting his head all around here, desperate to try to wrap around here to try to find a kill at least before he inevitably goes down. First Raiders Eclipse gets taken out in 8th place.
Yeah, King of Gamers, they have awoken once again, but First Raiders Eclipse, they weren't able to pop off just the way they did in the previous round of Kalahari. But let's see if or not the other teams can rise up to the occasion. EVOS Divine, phenomenal so far, and a good glue wall pulled up by EVOS Phoenix here to make sure that little jump pad does not put them at risk of getting taken out of the equation. Jonas, the final player, out, and he does not get shut down. An attack all around. Here's all of those shots coming out of EVOS Divine, but King of Gamers is keeping them busy.
Yeah, and it's getting busier and busier in this circle right now as teams are collapsing one over another. Phoenix getting in an engagement right now with NGX, and it's looking to be a bit of a bloodbath right now because I think there are already shots coming through. In fact, KOG in the meantime is also fighting against AAA, and looks like they're also sustaining damage on their end. EVOS Phoenix somehow still has 4 members roaming around, still trying to find a way to get around NGX's old blue wall setup. If I match Kamel, they will be able to take him down. I think if IW God is going to get traded out, and EVOS Phoenix now looking to be quite well as NGX is down to a last member now, but so is EVOS Phoenix already last one standing here, but he will be able to bring the revive back in. Only Moshi is the only one down. Dew is still the last man standing, a very familiar position if you recall from the last few rounds, but will Dew be able to make himself work out even well? No, it does not. He gets shut down from the big shot here from Get High.
It was a good try either way. Moshi, final single bit of HP left on him, but he is going to get picked right back up. Attack all around. 2 more players left in this equation, but King of Gamers, they've got the game of numbers up against them. Jump God gets taken down real quick, and Folky as the final survivor tries to run straight at King of Gamers, getting the first knock, getting the second knock as well, but none of those knocks are going to be turning into kills anytime soon as the other teams are trying to prey on them. EVOS Phoenix from afar, they want to go for their back-to-back.
Yeah, they see them at a distance. They're going to be taking pot shots from them from up high as Get High is going to be taking this high ground here with the scoped rifle in order to try to keep them suppressed. And it looks like it's working out well for them because King Gamers don't really have a lot of cover to work with at this stage. And the gaps in between, you got to watch out for those because Moshi will be able to take one down, headshot as well to seal the deal. And that's the way they will win the last Booyah of the day.
The Phoenix rises once again by the time we get to the end of the day. EVOS Phoenix in the #1 spot. World Series champions, and it looks like they want to get the Snapdragon Pro Series Cup as well. What a play, and what a dramatic setup once again as expected.
You know, like I was saying early on that, you know, it's not about how you start, it's going to be how you finish.
Oh, yeah.
What a finish this is. EVOS Phoenix taking back-to-back booyahs on both Bermuda and Kalahari to secure themselves a really good run here. I wouldn't be surprised to see them on top of the leaderboard after this, though, but I digress. Let's go ahead and see how everyone else has performed so far.
I mean,